What's up, everybody? Welcome to After the Final Whistle, football talk with Jon and Montel. This is episode number 18. My name is Montel. Our co-host is Jon. What's going on with you, buddy?
Oh, not much, my man. Not much. Just thankful that Packers are facing the Niners this week instead of like the Rams or Cardinals. So I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, any of those NFC West teams are tough. Um, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably take the Niners too over because the Rams are just too hot right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know the Packers went like 4-0 against the NFC West this year, but Rams are kind of scary at the moment. Um, so what about you? What's been going on with you?
Oh, not much. I've acquired a dog, so we'll see how this goes. You may hear her snoring throughout the podcast. I do apologize. Other than that, I had some network issues last week. Trying something different. We'll see if that resolves it. But yeah, man. And other than that, I'm just another day, another dollar.
Right, right.
So what you got this week in terms of injuries? There's what, 8 teams left, I think. So not like a ton of news, I reckon. But
Yeah, there's not a ton, but some big names going out or coming back if you are fans of those teams. So, like, starting off, people that are out, you got Ronald Jones and Rashad Perriman for the Buccaneers out this week, but you do have Leonard Fournette coming back. So, an improvement at running back.
yeah, I was gonna say Ronald Jones is kind of a bust in my opinion, but
Um, then uh, some biggest name probably coming back. Derrick Henry has been activated off of IR, so um, he is coming back this week. It sounds like, and seems like he's healthy. So not surprised considering he's a freak of nature.
yeah, and uh, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that he's actually gonna start. So if I were the Bengals, I'd be like absolutely terrified.
Yeah, yeah. Um, then some other names. David Bakhtiari is questionable, but I feel like it's more resting than him actually still being hurt.
Right,
Um,
got to report it.
yeah. Um, Nick Bosa has cleared concussion protocol, so I'm glad he's fine. But at the same time, could sit out one more week. I'd be all right with that.
Yeah, they'll be out of the playoffs if he sits.
I know. Um, then Packers basically have gotten all of their players back. Randall Cobb's back. Whitney Merciless is back. Zary Smith, Jair Alexander. Pretty much all of the people that have been injured throughout the year are now back and healthy.
And what do they win? 13 games without him for the most part.
Yeah, they went 13-4.
hmm They're a scary team
Yeah.
in the playoffs too.
But pretty much that's really all I have on the injury front. Um, what do you have for the news?
So I guess I'll start with a few rumors and rumblings out there. So per Adam Schefter, the Giants are supposed to hire Bills assistant GM Joe Schoen. It's spelled Schoen. If anybody can pronounce that correctly, shoot me an email and let me know if I pronounced that wrong. Per Ian Rappaport, the Panthers are expected to sign former Giants head coach and former Packers offensive coordinator Ben McAdoo. He'll be filling the Panthers' offensive coordinator role. Per Pro Football Talk, the Texans are reportedly wanting another team to interview journeyman quarterback Josh McCown. They really like him as a head coaching candidate, apparently. The Texans have already interviewed him, and they just want someone else to kind of legitimize their decision to do so. Um, hmm. It's
That's
kind of weird.
interesting.
Yeah, it's weird to me because he doesn't have any like NFL or like college coaching experience. But I mean, it's a
Well,
very Texans move. You got Brian Flores like sitting there, and you guys are going to take a backup quarterback to be
yeah,
your head coach.
just right. Just like we talked about a couple weeks ago, the Texans firing their head coach like right after the news of Brian Flores because Brian Flores has like a friend or two up in the Texans organization. So
Hmm.
we'll see what happens, but I feel like the Texans saying that is like, here, we think he's good. You interview him and then you hire him. We got our guy.
Right, maybe like a smoke screen of some kind.
Yeah.
I do know another team that interviewed Flores. The Giants actually interviewed him as well. So I said this when was it last week or the week before? He won't be unemployed very long. He's very in demand right now. I mean, the Dolphins probably going to regret fire him, but that's a conversation we've already had.
Yeah. I mean, the the fact that he had two winning seasons in a row with the Dolphins with that roster,
After they had like what three losing ones, like horrible losing ones.
um, and then you fire him, that's a mistake.
hmm I guess my next bit of news, a lot of this is from Adam Schefter because you know he's tactically pretty good. So the Vikings have interviewed Raheem Morris for their vacant head coaching job. So Mike Tomlin and Jalen Ramsey have both spoken pretty highly of Raheem Morris. Um, Me personally, he got fired in Tampa Bay, I think like 8, 9 years ago. But dude he was young, kind of given the keys to this Ferrari, and he managed to win like 10 games with Josh Freeman as his quarterback, and a legit like didn't even have like a legitimate number one receiver. He had, I think Vincent Jackson was on like the backside of his career. So interesting candidate. I mean, I don't really know much outside of that. I mean, 10 years, he's still in the NFL getting experience. So, um, 34 to 44, or however old he is, I think that's a long enough time between head coaching gigs. Hopefully, he gets one, if not with the Vikings, somewhere else.
Yeah. I also thought Kellen Moore was interviewed for the Vikings head coaching spot.
Oh, there's been a lot. So they've interviewed Kellen Moore, they've interviewed Dan Campbell, Raheem Morris. Um, there's a rumor out there that they want to try and to interview Doug Peterson, but haven't heard much on that. Um, I think the Packers OC. I can't think of his name. They interviewed him. They've also interviewed like I think Brian Daboll, who was a coordinator somewhere else. So they have interviewed like 6 or 7, maybe even 8 candidates, and I don't understand why, because they don't even have a general manager. Usually, the general manager picks the head coach, so kind of confused on their strategy there. But uh,
So kind of put you on the spot here. Out of those names you mentioned, who would you like to see in that spot?
hmm, if I had to pick one, honestly, it would probably be uh, Kellen Moore or Raheem Morris. I'm leaning more towards Morris, just because after that game Kellen Moore called last week in the playoffs, I wouldn't call for him to be fired, but he at least needs to be like demoted to like co-offensive coordinator for a season because that was you got CeeDee Lamb like one target and one catch. You call a draw. I mean, I don't know if it was a draw, but to me it looked like a quarterback draw. Caused you to lose the game because the freaking quarterback tries to spot the ball by itself. So I'd be it probably be a 1A Raheem Morris, one B Kellen Moore. If I can't have either one of those, I would probably take Dan Quinn. Yeah, there's the 25-3 Super Bowl meme, but he clearly knows what he's doing. He got a team in the Super Bowl. Not stubborn like Mike Zimmer, where he won't take charge of an offense. Mike Zimmer would hire like former head coaches to do it for him. So um, one of those three. I mean, I think they're all good candidates. They got the upstart, the guy with something to prove, and the grizzled vet. So they all have their pluses and minuses.
Yeah. Looks like a few hours ago, Todd Bowles was also interviewed.
You know, I'd be okay with that too. Um, I know he had the Jets job, but dude, it's the Jets. Like, it doesn't matter who their head coach is. They get 2 or 3 seasons and they get fired because their owners want them to be winners like instantaneously. Um, Todd Bowles is a good coach. I don't care what anybody says. He made Patrick Mahomes look like a child in the Super Bowl last year with like good scheming. So he's a damn good coach. I'd take him too.
Yeah, I just quickly searched it and saw that, so I figured I'd throw his name in there too.
He's good, man. I guess we'll keep it on like the coaching train. So I'm not sure about this source. It's called U Stadium. But they're reporting that Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh is reportedly being offered a large extension by Michigan. He's apparently waiting to see what happens with the Raiders head coaching job. So he's either going to be at Michigan or with the Raiders. So Jim Harbaugh making his way back to the NFL. What you think about that?
Um, I'm ready to see it. I mean, I kind of feel like he got screwed whenever he was the head coach for wasn't he the one that was the head coach of
The Niners.
the Niners?
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, Niners had a good team. Just I think he was put on too short of a rope.
I think that, and I think he was made the fall guy there because they got rid of him, and then they kept like the general manager for like a season or two after that. But uh, around that time when Harbaugh left, you had like a bunch of players retire in their prime, and that's not good.
No,
um, Patrick Willis, he was in the league from 2007 to I think 13 or 14, 7-time Pro Bowler, retires at like 28 years old, prime of his career. Just because I personally feel like he thought his coach got the shit in the stick too, kind of like what we're thinking. So yeah, I think he deserved better than what um, San Francisco gave him.
yeah.
I guess moving on, like I said, a lot of Adam Schefter news. So Dak Prescott has apparently been fined $25,000 for his comments on fans throwing trash at the officials, and they have to lost the game.
I
Uh,
didn't hear about this.
okay. I don't have like the entire skinny on this, but so the ref, I saw part of it. I turned the game off. The refs called the game, and then they're running. You know how they run to the usually like a corner where they can go to the locker room or whatever.
Yeah,
Fans were throwing trash at him, and Dak pretty much says something like "good for them," as like the referees are being pelted with garbage. Um, I guess out of spite because he feel like they may have done him wrong, but to be honest, know the rule. The referee has to spot the ball. I mean, that's something a 5-year-old could tell you.
right, right. But I also know he was probably like in the heat of the moment and just was like, let's just go.
Yeah, I get it, man. I wouldn't have wanted to stay either. I mean, they were in Dallas. There are probably some fans that will say the game was like poorly officiated. I wouldn't say poorly officiated. I would just say was officiated like it should be. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that didn't get called, in my opinion. So, yeah, and this isn't just me, just like for the Cowboys, I feel like it was called maybe like 51-49, so pretty damn even in terms of like how bad the penalties were. So, nonetheless, I mean, people are doing their job. No reason to throw garbage at them for a sporting event. Then Tom Pelissero is reporting that the NFL has sent a memo to the remaining playoff teams. They have a significant update to the COVID testing cadence. So they've eliminated the distinction between vaccinated and unvaccinated players. So your vaccination status no longer matters, and you're not required to be tested daily anymore in the playoffs. So there's a lot of people, I don't want to say upset, but concerned with the lack of COVID cases being reported. You're averaging like 10, 15, 20 a week, and now all of a sudden you have like one or two. So there's probably some players who are symptomatic still participating in practice. So we'll see how this week turns out with the remaining playoff teams after we get done with this week.
That just sounds absolutely stupid, but okay.
Mm-hmm. Hey, money talks. It's a business. I get it, but you should really put your players' health, sorry, above profit.
Well, not only that, but I mean, if there's enough people there, I mean, then that goes to like the refs, and then the refs can give that to, or like if there's like close contact with fans, you're giving that to fans. So it's just stupid all the way around.
Mm-hmm. And remember last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe three, they were almost out of officials like to run a fish like full crews because of COVID. So
Yeah.
it's kind of dumb. I mean, I know we're all kind of fatigued by COVID, but when you get lax, we're starting to see like explosions and stuff. So I'm with you. It just doesn't make sense to me, but I'm just a dude. You're a dude. We record a podcast. We don't know nothing.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Troy Aikman had some harsh words for the Cowboys in an interview on 90, I think it's 6.7, the ticket. It's a radio station near Dallas. And tell me what you think of this quote. If you don't do anything in the postseason, then you're no different than the Jaguars or Jets that didn't even get in.
Where's the lie?
I don't think it's a lie.
I mean,
Um,
I agree with him to some extent. I mean,
I think there's a better way to say it, probably, but
well, I mean, when you're that's the organ. I think that's the only organization he played for. I'm sure he has a love for the team, but the team this year should have done more in the playoffs. To be honest, the way they were playing all year long.
yeah,
So
they were pretty dominant. Well, they scored like 50 points twice this year, I think.
yeah, so I can see where he was frustrated with it, but at the same time, like they haven't won since he played for them either. So he's probably just tired of seeing them be mediocre at best.
So when you say that, you'll probably get a kick out of this because it pokes fun at the Vikings too. Lost last week. The Cowboys are in second place in playoff losses behind the Vikings. The Vikings have 30 playoff losses. The Cowboys have 29.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. And then I guess last bit I have it isn't really news, more like a interesting fact. So there's a Reddit user named Uncle Orton. He's pointed out that this is the fifth time that the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs have met in the playoffs. In the previous four matchups, the winner has gone on to lose the Super Bowl. So the 2020 and 2021 AFC Championship game, the Chiefs won the AFC Championship game. And they lost the Super Bowl to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 93-94 AFC Championship game, Bills won the game and they lost the Super Bowl to the Dallas Cowboys. 91-92 divisional round, so not the championship game, but the round before. The Bills won the game and they lost the Super Bowl to the Washington Redskins. They were the Redskins at that time, so I can say it. 66-67. This is before we had the AFC and NFC. The AFL Championship. The Chiefs won the game and they lost the Super Bowl to the Green Bay Packers.
Jesus.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is whoever wins this game on, I'm assuming it's Sunday. I haven't actually looked at the day. Is going to lose the Super Bowl. So keep that in mind when we make our picks in a couple weeks.
Actually, it's tomorrow at 5:30.
Oh, is it? So it's a Saturday game. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess keep an eye on it. I mean, it's interesting. You don't find like weird statistics like that every day. So stuff. It's nice to go to the Super Bowl, but
right. But if you go to the Super Bowl and lose, are you any better than the Jags or the Jets?
I mean, yeah, because you made it to the Super Bowl, and neither one of those teams probably will when me and you are alive. So, we'll take it what we can get.
Right.
I guess moving on, we got predictions from last week. So overall, you're sitting at 34-15, 1-2 last week. So the week before this one. The games you had were the Eagles at Bucks, 49ers at Cowboys, and Cardinals at Rams. You predicted the Eagles would lose to the Buccaneers 24-28. They lost 15-31, so you got that one. Predicted the Cowboys would actually beat the 49ers 21-17. They lost 23-17. You predicted the Cardinals would lose to the Rams 28-33. The Cardinals got dog walked 11-34 by a divisional opponent.
So then doesn't that mean I'm 2-1 instead of 1-2?
No, yeah. So you're 1-2 for the previous week, 2-1 for this week.
Gotcha.
And then for me, last week I was 2-1, and this week I had Raiders at Bengals, Patriots at Bills, and Steelers at Chiefs. Predicted the Raiders would lose 21-35. They lost 19-26, so I got that one. Predicted the Patriots would lose 17-31. They lost, yeah, bad, 17-47. Predicted the Steelers would lose to the Chiefs 21-24. They got doubled down and they lost 21-42. So we were talking about blowouts last week, and yeah, there were a couple of them that were pretty bad.
Yeah.
So puts me at a 3-0 for the current week. So I guess this week you've got the AFC. So you've got Bengals at Titans and Bills at Chiefs.
Yes. So Bengals at Titans. I'm going to call for the upset here. As much as we know Derrick Henry's probably going to run all over the Bengals, but I'm going to say the Bengals beat the Titans 35-21.
So kind of close. It's a pretty close game, 35-21. They got the weapons. I mean, the Bengals have a lot of firepower. They just have to be able to stop Henry on defense.
Yeah, and I mean the Bengals have been clicking on all cylinders for like the past month, so like they've started like clicking at the right time. So I got to ride with them.
You know who they kind of remind me of? The 07-08 Giants and I think it's the 09-10 or 10-11 Giants, when they kind of just cruise to like a 9-7, 10-6 kind of record, and then get hot in the playoffs. So they could go to the Super Bowl if they keep it up.
Yeah, but they got to get past who I'm going to predict wins the Bills Chiefs. And I have more confidence in the Bills over the Chiefs. So Bills 38, Chiefs 21.
That's a blowout. So I've got 49ers at Packers and Rams at Bucks.
Both solid games.
Yeah, both tough games. Um,
Question
I
is, are you
don't.
going to go? You're going to pick a team outside of the division to win, though, since
Okay,
you're
I
an
probably
NFC
am.
North boy.
Yeah, I am. But the 49ers and Packers played earlier this year. I think the Packers won that game.
They
Uh,
did.
I think the 49ers might have their number this time, but it's gonna whatever score I give, it could happen either way. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be relatively close, or probably 49ers 30, Packers 27.
Keep in mind, it's going to be like 2 degrees, and the coldest game Jimmy Garoppolo has ever played in is like 38.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But I will say this: the 49ers are they're a Kyle Shanahan wide zone and like power team. So they might be a warm city team, but they're built for the cold. They're built for the playoffs. So I'm I'm gonna stick with it, 30 to 27. You actually stole my
Yeah.
trivia question, so I also had to scratch that one off.
I also know that the Packers last time they played against the Niners in the playoffs uh, got like ran all over, just like so many yards. I think it was some record or something like that.
The 49ers had the record against the Packers, or the other way?
Record against the Packers.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. They're they're a physical team, man. I mean, they're like a bring your lunch pail and I'm hitching the face with a lunch pail kind of team. So, um, not to say the Packers are soft, man, but the 49ers have a slightly better defense, I think, and they run the ball a little bit better. So
I don't know if the Packers can do what they did when they played the Vikings that
which
last game.
time? Oh, the last
Dalvin
one.
Cook, like 18 rushes for 9 yards.
Yeah, but to be fair, you guys are playing like our quarterback's coach, you know. So there's not really any threat he's gonna actually throw the ball. Jimmy Garoppolo is like strides better than fuck, what's his name? Can't even think of his name. Sean Mannion. So I'm
I
like, he's the
mean,
backup. I'm like, who cares about the backup? Like, what is his freaking name?
I agree, but at the same time, it's just like I feel like the Packers have something to play for this year, more so
I,
than just the Super Bowl.
I feel like they do as well, but the the 49ers just have they got a better offensive line than the Vikings. Their running backs aren't better; it's just the offensive line is better. They've got some dogs on their D line. Their secondary hits hard. Their linebackers are fast. I know that I think they're missing. Uh, was it Greenlaw? One of their starting linebackers got hurt last week, but yeah, I think it'll be a good game at least. But I think that the Niners come out ahead.
Yeah, like we've said multiple times in this podcast, any given Sunday.
Yeah, yeah, you can get punched in the mouth any given Sunday. Um, Rams at Bucks, man. After what the Rams did to the Cardinals last week, um, they're really honestly built to stop everything the Bucks do well. You know, they've got Jalen Ramsey, and he just follows the best receiver. They've got Aaron Donald. They've got Michael Brockers. They've got Von Miller now too. So I think the Rams probably win this one. I don't think this one will be as close as like the 49ers Packers. So I'm gonna say 31-17, and
Okay.
that's for the Rams.
I mean, if for whatever reason Packers get knocked out, I'm gonna have to probably root for the Rams to win, just so Matt Stafford can finally get a ring.
Dude, I'm like, as a Vikings fan, I've never hated the Lions. You know what I mean? Like, but there's nobody I wanted to get out of the purgatory that is Detroit more than Matt Stafford. He deserves so much better than Detroit. Oh my God, yeah, when he was in Detroit, he never had a run game. He had like Megatron for like 6 seasons. He had a good Golden Tate for 2 years. I mean, Marvin Jones for like three. He's never like had any stability anywhere. His offensive line has always been like terrible. He gets sacked. You know, if you look at probably go back and look at like the total sacks or whatever for him, he's probably getting sacked 50, 60 times a year. I'm just glad the dude is out of Detroit. I swear he deserves so much better.
Yeah. I saw a stat that I think Matt Stafford has like was the quarterback of the two players that has like the most receiving yards in a season.
Oh, Cooper Cup and Megatron. Yeah, he's got he's thrown to both of them. I think yeah, I've seen that too.
Yeah.
He got an arm. I mean, he's got a ballistic like nuke attached to his arm, so he can sling the pill.
Yeah. Calvin Johnson, 1964, 1,964 yards in 2012. Cooper Cup, 1,947 yards in 2021.
Almost identical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now Cooper
He's
Cup has like 11 more touchdowns than Calvin Johnson had in that year.
yeah, and the Rams have like 11 more weapons than Megatron to like balance it out. He had no help. He made the Hall of Fame though, so good for him.
Yeah. So, like I said, if the Packers get knocked out, I think I'll be going rooting for the Rams to win. Just like I said, for Matt Stafford, because dude needs a ring. He deserves one.
Yeah,
If anyone does.
yeah. I think I think he's I'm not gonna say Hall of Fame. I think he's Hall of really good right now. Um, I don't even think he has to win a Super Bowl. If he just makes like maybe 2 or 3 Super Bowls before he retires, I think he'll be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Win at
Uh,
least one.
Let me pull up his career stats here. So for his career, he's got almost 50,000 yards,
Hmm.
323 touchdowns, and 161 interceptions.
2-to-1 interception ratio. Yeah. What's the completion percentage? 67, 68?
63.
That's still pretty good considering he throws the ball like 50 yards down the field half the time.
Yeah. His stats for the year are almost identical to what he had in 2011. Uh, he has a higher completion percentage this year compared to 2011. 4,800 yards compared to 5,000 yards, but like touchdowns, interceptions, 41 touchdowns both years, 17 this year, 16 in 2011. So like he's having a career year this year on a
Right.
better team, higher
Yeah.
rating,
And
higher completion percentage. So I mean, like I said, anyone deserves it. It's him.
I think so. I mean, I'm I'm gonna leave Matt Stafford alone. I just hope they beat the Bucks because I really don't like Tom Brady. So I guess my last thing I got is I gotta mark out one of my trivia questions. Like I said a few minutes ago, you stole it. Um, Let me ask the question like this: what quarterback that remains in the playoff has never beaten their opponent in the playoffs?
What quarterback who is still in the playoffs has never beaten their opponent?
Mm-hmm. In the playoffs.
I want to say Tannehill.
Mm-mm.
It's
It's
not
one you
right.
probably wouldn't even think.
Matt Stafford.
No, sir.
Uh, Jimmy Garoppolo.
The other one that's playing in that game.
The young one, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers has never beaten the 49ers in the playoffs. He's 0-4.
Good to know. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
That hurts my heart.
Yep. My other one, my other question was, which quarterback has never played in a playoff game below 40 degrees? And then you dropped the bomb about it being Jimmy G. I was like, damn it! I didn't even tell him what the question was.
Right.
So I had my shot. You got any questions you gonna throw out there before we call it quits?
Um, there was one, but I don't remember it exactly. Um, how many playoff wins does Tom Brady have?
Hmm. I know this. I really do know this, but I don't know the exact number. I think it's 34.
You're close. It's 35.
I I thought I knew it. It's so close.
That's
I was like, it
nine.
has.
That's 19 more than Joe Montana, who ranks second.
Well, I mean, considering Montana's retired and nobody other than Mahomes probably has a chance to get that within the next 50 years, I think that record's probably going to stay for a while.
Let's see here.
Mark
Another
this.
one for, Tom Brady.
Hmm.
Um, Tom Brady has won 7 rings. He has more
Mm-hmm.
rings than which team that have been in the playoffs?
Uh, so like more rings than teams that have rings.
Yes.
Okay. Steelers, Cowboys, Giants, um, Buccaneers. He technically has more than the Patriots now that he's won one without Belichick, I think. Let's see. Packers. I think the Niners won a couple Super Bowls, but I don't think they've won one yet. How many more
Yeah.
I got to go?
I mean, you've named off basically all of them. Um,
Okay, I was like,
so,
how many?
so,
There's got to be one I'm missing.
so he Steelers have 6, Patriots have 6, Cowboys 5, Niners 5. So he has more rings than like these teams, and he also has like I think more postseason wins than like I think the Raiders and one other team.
Probably the Vikings.
So it's just like
It's
insane.
impressive, but he still has the most punchable face I've ever seen. Just saying.
Um, but that's pretty much the only ones I had.
Yeah, all right. Well, shoot, man. We got it. Nice and quick this week. If you want to leave us a voice message, feel free to click the link in the podcast notes where you listen to the podcast. We also answer questions from after the final whistle podcast at gmail.com. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, and Pocket Cast. There are some other lesser known platforms out there, and if you want us on one of them, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to try and get it up for you. I'm Montel, and as always, y'all, thanks for listening. Peace.
Until next week, everybody, take care.
We'll be right back with a quick message from one of our sponsors. I get asked quite a bit how Jon and I went about spinning up a podcast so quick. We use an application or a platform called Anchor. It has the tools that allow you to upload and record your podcast right from your phone or your computer. I've done both, and they're really quick and simple to use. When hosting a podcast on Anchor, you can distribute it quickly on various platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, and Pocket Cast. It has everything you need all in one place, and best of all, it's completely free. Download the Anchor app from your Play Store or your Apple Store, or go to anchor.fm to get started today.